Coming up on this episode of the Logical Lawyer Podcast.
We can't run away from this technology. We got to run into it.
Yeah, I actually like it because it lets me see what's going on, what other people are thinking, and what they're saying.
That's it. Because
for a long time, I received nothing from the right.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting all this stuff from the right.
Oh, yeah.
Their analysis, I don't see their logic, but I see what they're thinking. And that gives me a broader perspective of what's going on in our world.
Yep.
And hopefully...
Welcome all to Bernie Brown's Delight, where legal minds unite both day and night. In uncertain times, he's your guiding light. So gather round, let's set things right.
Welcome to the Logical Lawyer Podcast with attorney Bernie Brown, retired Los Angeles Assistant City Attorney with decades of legal experience and also extensive leadership experience, serving in top bar associations like the John M. Langston Bar Association and the Association of Black City Attorneys. Bernie is powered by a deep personal testimony that took him from South Central LA to the courtrooms of downtown LA. Bernie dives into today's toughest legal, social, and spiritual issues. He brings facts, answers, and sharp analysis to cut through all the noise. So are you ready for a no-nonsense perspective? Then let's get started with your host, attorney Bernie Brown, the Logical Lawyer. As descendants of all of that, part of the diaspora of peoples that originated from the continent, and this is our task. This is our task. And everybody has a role. Everybody can't be quarterback. Everybody can't be running back. Or everybody can't be a pitcher up on the mound. But everybody can't hit the home run. But there's some people that can bunt. There's some people that can make plays. And it takes all of that. Interestingly enough, we were having a conversation. We have lots of great conversations back there in the food pantry after class because we pile everything onto this table and then we slide it back through the doors there so that the slam industry can come in and get set up. And so it's a wrap-up show or whatever, so to speak. And one of the things that came up in class was a brother, he was indicating that we don't have these leaders or whatever of old that could, he was talking about pastors or whatever that had a direct line to the White House or that had a direct line to a senator or something like that, who could sit down with gangs and make a truce and all of that. I didn't say anything. I was just scratching my head like, I don't know about that part, but some of the other stuff, yeah, they could get the ball rolling and everything, but no one had that power or ability. There were many people that tried, of course, but at any rate, what he was basically getting to was the fact in his mind that we didn't have that one voice of the quote unquote people. And my observation said that I was shared with him this documentary that I was watching yesterday as I was doing some research for some postings that I was going to do on the website. And it was about the Pullman porters originally was called, or Pullman
My uncle
cars.
was one of those.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, my.
On the train in Chicago.
Is he around? Whoa, yes, exactly. Is he still with us?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was getting really excited now because I'm like, hey, I just did some research on that. I would reach out to that guy because they did have some guys that and this was an NPR thing that they talked to there. But at any rate, the Pullman porters, and I forget what it eventually morphed into as far as the union goes, because there was a whole big thing. Chicago was ground zero for a lot of activity. And in fact, it was real bad stuff. That's when I think the first time that they called the military in on the people there, because there was a revolt. The workers had about 4,000 plus whatever walked out. And then the owner, Mr. Pullman himself, he had people in Washington, and he put some bugs in some ears, and they sent the troops there, and the people, they went off. They didn't like that, so they went off, and next thing they start burning up these cars, because they made these cars sleepers and that sort of thing there. In fact, that was one of the cars that carried Lincoln's body across the states. And they weren't having any of that, so they were burning things up and tearing things up, and the military started firing on the people. There was about 16 or more people that were killed as a result of that, and thousands injured. And the workers didn't win. They didn't get anything from that other than national attention, of course. National attention came down the road because the porters and the maids, because there were maids there as well, they started to organize. And they didn't really have one person to do this. And there was a brother out there that was doing some other type of organizing and had a very strong voice. He was educated and skilled, and they heard about him, and then they eventually elected him or asked him to come and lead their organization, because the company came up with this company-oriented union, which was illegal and did nothing for the people. And so there was another union, the railroads union, and that the porters were, I think, charter members of originally. And so this brother by the name of, you're probably familiar with him, Brother A. Philip Randolph came to the scene. And he was the guy that became the first president of that all-black union for porters. And they became very strong. In fact, they were the guys that really helped kick off the civil rights movement itself as an organized movement there, because they had the organization, they had the membership, and they joined forces with Dr. King's people, and it was a force to be reckoned with. And history looks back on the accomplishments of the movement itself, both with workers' rights and everything. In fact, that particular union for the porters also gave women a vote on as it relates to labor issues there and contracts, which was unheard of. In fact, one of the brothers, A. Philip Randolph's right-hand man, I forget his name, he wasn't too keen on women working anyway. He was one of those guys. No shade on him. That was his view. And he came from that time and that kind of upbringing or whatever. But Brother Randolph, he said, no, the sisters, they're gonna get a say in all of this. And those women, they formed their own auxiliary union as well, and they became a major fundraiser for the porters. And all this was culminating to this all happened prior to the March on Washington with MLK and the I Have a Dream speech. And the brother that introduced MLK at the podium was A. Philip Randolph.
Wow. I don't need a history book if I got you.
Hey, man, I love this stuff. And especially that. And this is the thing that both young people and old people, not just the young people, and I mention them because of the fact that a lot of this stuff is being removed from libraries and databases and stuff like that. And so they have never heard of it in many cases. It would never hear about it, but for other forums and platforms that would give them that opportunity to hear about these things. And that's where people like you and I come in to give them something that they can grow on. Not just them, the brothers and sisters that were perhaps even there but may have forgot about it. And it just warms their hearts and their souls or whatever to know that, okay, this information didn't die. He didn't take that away from us. Knowledge and stuff. Once you have it, no one can take that away from you. You might forget some things there, but no one took it away.
They say history repeats itself.
It does. It can.
Yes. And so if it is, then the leaders of tomorrow are being born today.
Oh, I'm glad that you said that, because that's where I brought Higgins and them around to. I said, now, that brother was thinking that, okay, there's no one out there. And I was referring to A. Philip Randolph and MLK, for that matter, and others, Shuttlesworth and Abernathy and whatnot, as being, it was their time. It was a time and a moment, and they were uniquely qualified and prepared to actually do what needed to be done. And all of them were not necessarily raising their hand to say, okay, send me. It was a kind of a reluctance type of thing. Someone had to do it.
Yes.
And it's okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do this. They may have even had conditions. Okay, I'm only going to be in here for 6 months or 30, or to get you across the line. I'm going to argue this particular case or whatever. Just this one case. The next thing, if they're a good marshal, and all the rest of them that's in it to win it for everybody for the long haul, and it becomes their cause and everything. And I think, to your point, I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know when that's going to happen or whatever, but they're either being born or they're already born.
They're already, like I said, being, but I think they're already out there.
Yeah.
There are people out there that will rise to the challenge. Yes. They're going to meet the challenge. And you could be one of those leaders. You could be one of them that...
Hey, all of them, you know, to the point of being a reluctant one, I would, as far as being out front, I'd probably be scratching and clawing, trying to get to the back. But with that said, I feel a calling to continue to try to lift up our people. And I'm talking about everyone that's part of the diaspora. Because, most of us were born here in this United States, but our ancestors weren't. However you want to look at that, it all started somewhere else.
Overseas.
And they didn't come here with a passport. They weren't on a Carnival cruise or anything like that. And many didn't even make it, for that matter. I just feel compelled to do that. And I have a platform to do that, and to try to encourage everyone else in whatever lane you're in to do that, because just the presence of a melanated person in whatever that discipline is makes a difference as far as the algorithm, because now we're into the information age, and algorithms make a difference. They control behavior and everything, of people. A person that that knows somebody that knows someone, it could be 100 people down the list there that liked something, and this algorithm tried to find someone else that would like the same thing or whatever, so it's going to run by everybody, okay? Whether it went there or not. That's just how it goes. And the only thing in Zuckerberg and Musk and these guys, and the guy that before Musk, they all had an original agreement to filter out crap like that people didn't ask to see or whatever. But since this administration, and even in the first one, they've opened all that up now. So you have to, as I was sharing with another brother, we can't run away from this technology. We got to run into it.
I actually like it because it lets me see what's going on, what other people are thinking, what they're saying.
That's it.
Because for a long time, I received nothing from the and now I'm getting all this stuff from the right. And I see that their analysis. I don't see their logic, but I see what they're thinking. And that gives me a broader perspective of what's going on in our world. And hopefully that we're not leading toward a climactic point of conflict. That's what scares me.
Yeah.
Is this idea that these forces are so diametrically opposed, and they're not willing to compromise at all, and not even willing to talk.
Right.
And so when that happens, I think it just becomes worse. And so I think inevitably it can lead to a conflict. I don't think we're going to a civil war, but I think we could see social unrest, especially if it's initiated or instigated by our president.
To that point there, even by definition, that's at least civil unrest, if not civil war.
Yes.
We could take the war off the table there because it would be a different type of situation anyway.
Yeah.
Excuse me. There might be some blood in the street. As a matter of fact, I think I don't know if you saw it or not, I posted something on Instagram and did a repost of it for Representative Norma Torres. She's one of, I guess, a number of people that's investigating that shooting, the alleged shooting out there in Ontario. Okay. And we could see more of that because it's right there. It's on the tip. And go ahead.
It's interesting, too, because when you get a president that's sending troops into cities, don't want them, you set the fertile ground for potential conflict.
Yes.
You're stroking, as they say.
Yes. Yes.
You're stroking conflict.
Yes.
And the danger is that you get a governor or a city official who tells the police, if ICE violates people's civil rights, arrest them or stop them. Now you've got two theoretically law enforcement forces going against each other. And that could lead to a great conflict. But I can see it happening because you have these people on the news and they're showing you instances where ICE seemingly, at least on the video, I'm seeing looks like a violation of people's constitutional rights. Having people for no reason, roughing them up, searching them, clear violations of rights. And he actually looked in certain instances like they were using force against people, beating or hitting them. And theoretically, that violates state law. So theoretically, you could have a situation where state law enforcement could be in conflict with federal officers.
Where does that line, if there is a line between the civil rights and due process, cross? Or are they the same?
In theory, the ICE is subject to the same constitutional limitations, and our president is subject to the same constitutional limitations as all other law enforcement agencies. And so in theory, they can't go around violating people's constitutional rights. And they can theoretically be held accountable for that. But that would require a court of law at some point. But in the meantime, you could see local law enforcement officers stepping in under the direction a mayor or a governor who says, wait a minute, I see ICE or I see federal troops beating up people, hurting people, violating their constitutional rights, committing batteries, assaults, false imprisonment, and violating constitutional rights. And therefore, I'm sending my officers to oppose them. Now, that theoretically could happen, in which event you would have
a serious situation. I think, as a matter of fact, did Chicago determine that's their move? Did they set that up or what?
In theory, they couldn't initiate it. I haven't seen it happen with this administration yet.
Okay.
As far as opposition, but it's
on paper. I thought that he made a proclamation or executive order or something like that.
Tell us about what you heard.
That's all that I've heard actually there. I'd have to pull that up because I was listening to that because I think it came out at that rally that they had. And as we're sitting here, I'll probably try to bring it up if I can. He had indicated, just as you laid out there, the parameters for their officers to engage and, if necessary, arrest the ICE officers.
Okay.
For violation of civil rights.
Yes, civil rights, yes.
If not due process. And to your point, man, that could be something, because the feds are going to feel that they've got jurisdiction based on the authority of the administration or whatever.
Yes.
Because certainly, because I don't believe the Constitution would be their foundation for any of that. But other than as it relates to the Insurrection Act or some other type of being at war or something like that, which they're trying to make up right now, or conjure up, or stroke, as you indicated. But outside of that, their actions would be unlawful under the Constitution. And that's where the mayor was saying that their police force could step in and arrest these officers if necessary. And I don't think that anybody's going to come quietly.
Oh, yes. They're in, and the pot is brewing. Therein is the possibility or the stewing of the pot for major conflict, for really great violence, shall we say, unleashing a real situation. I've been thinking about that for some time, because it is a matter of concern, as I mentioned earlier. If the president, and many people believe that he's just testing the ground by sending in these troops to cities that don't want them. The cities are saying we don't want them, and then he's creating what he's saying is a condition that requires them to be sent in. And you look on the media, and you look in the news, and there's no violence, there's nothing going on. And he's saying, oh, wait a minute, they're burning down LA. There's nothing going on. They're tearing up Chicago.
And they're looking at footage from the Watts riots or something.
Yeah. So he's trying to create a situation. And so many people believe that he's just testing the ground. And in theory, if he's still around when the next election comes, and he starts sending troops to the ballot boxes, because he's already saying he's going to do that. And many people believe that that's just a method of intimidation, that he's trying to intimidate voters, because you send a bunch of ICE agents.
The thing that Governor Pritzker and the mayor and others are saying or suggesting, that to your point of them sending troops in, the troops will already be there. They were saying that they're trying to normalize the situation so that when 2026 comes around, for instance, and anything in between, heck, we might see something this Tuesday as far as what that looks like. Because supposedly there are going to be some watchers there around these polling places there, and watchers watching the watchers.
Oh, man. Everybody's watching.
Everybody's watching.
That's a wrap for this episode of The Logical Lawyer. If you found this insightful, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who appreciate straight talk and sharp analysis. Got a question or topic for Bernie? We'd love to hear from you. Connect with Bernie at thelogicallawyer.me. That's at thelogicallawyer.me, and you've got it. So until next time, stay informed, think critically, and as always, keep it logical.
Oh, Bernie Brown, with knowledge profound. In the realm of justice, he's renowned. Seek the logical lawyer, where answers are found. On each new